So far, all of our programs that we've written has been done with sequential execution. So they'll start, they'll do one thing, they'll do another thing, they'll do a third thing, and then at some point they will stop. We've introduced loops so that we can move through these steps quicker and more efficiently, but we haven't had any way to make a decision. And so that's what we're going to talk about now. The way we're going to make decisions, the first piece that we're going to talk about for logic is our if-then statements. And with if-then statements, we're going to test for a condition, and that condition is either going to be true or false. And so if it's true, we can do this particular thing, or if it's false, we can do something different. So using our if-then statements, we'll be able to add a little bit of logic, although fairly rudimentary, true-false kind of stuff. If I look at my starting application here, I've just got some small amount of random data, numbered 1 through 10. And I've just worked with my loops to make sure that the data is starting in the right place and stopping in the right place. So this is the first step. I want to make sure if I'm supposed to be checking from A1 to D6 that my application is actually doing that. So I've created my loop, and then I've used a little bit of code inside of my loop to watch it move. And it's finding every cell. It's going down every column and checking every row. So I can be sure that when I'm doing my if-then statements, if it's supposed to be checking every cell, in fact, every cell is being selected for checking. So now that I'm sure my data is being selected correctly, I can just comment these out. I don't need that particular logic anymore. When I look at my if-then statements, I can have a single line if statement, and in that case, it's all contained on a single line. So if this particular condition is true, so I want to go through every cell, and if the value of that cell is less than 3, then, so that's true, then I want to do this. I want to take that cell interior color and make it yellow. If I run this single line statement, I can see that it's doing what it's supposed to do. I could do less than or equal to 3. So these conditions can be any number of things. It just has to be the logic to solve my problem. I can add an else statement. So now this is reading, if this particular value is true, then do this. Otherwise, so the value is false, do this. These single line statements work well, but they're difficult to read. So a better way to do it is to have a multi-line statement. And here, indentation starts to become very important. When I'm doing a multi-line statement, if I open an if, I have to close an if. Then has to be at the end of my condition. And then I can have else, else if, those kinds of things lower if I need them. So now this is reading, if this condition is true, then we're going to do this, else or otherwise, we're going to do this. And then I'm going to end if. So end if isn't required for a single line statement, but it is required for a multi-line statement. Most of the time, you're going to find that they are multi-line statements. The single lines are just difficult to read. It achieves the same objective. I can have compound conditions. So in this if statement, I can check this condition and it must be true, or if this condition is true, then I will take this action. So again, if this condition is true, or if this condition is true, either one, then we're going to do this. So in this case, everything less than or equal to 3, greater than or equal to 6 should be turned yellow. Let's see if that occurs. Seems to be working correctly. I can have an and. In this situation with the or, one or the other conditions must be true, and then it will take the action. I can also do an and. So in this case, if this is true and if this is true, both are true, then I'll do this. So here I'm checking to see if my current cell that I'm in is less than 3 and range A1 is less than 3. Then it will do this. It will take the action. So let's see what that looks like. If I change that to greater than 3, nothing should occur because cell A1 is less than 3. So when you're using an or, one condition or the other condition must be true. When you're using an and, both conditions must be true. And when I'm writing these compound conditions, I can use as many ands and ors as I would like to be able to test my logic. If I want to test something like this, if condition 1 is true, then I'm going to do this. If it's not true, I want to check for a second condition. If that one's true, I'll do this. If it's not, I want to check for a third condition. I'm going to use this else if. And to use an else if, it'll look something like this. So if and end if. I have to start it and end it. If this condition is true, then it's going to set it to yellow. If that condition is false, then it's going to move to this next one and check else if this condition is true. Then it will take this action. So I'm going to check that cell value. If it's less than 3, less than or equal to 3, then I'm going to make it yellow. If that's not true, then I'm going to check it to see if it's greater than or equal to 6, and if it is, make it red. Looks something like that. I can also use else with this. And in this case, we're going to check if this first condition is true, less than 3. If it is, we're going to do this. If it's not, we're going to check else if it's greater than 6. Then we're going to do this. Else, or otherwise, it's not 3 or less, it's not 6 or more, then it must be whatever else. So it would be 4 and 5. We're going to make those green. Looks like this. So using just a simple if-then statement, we're able to add quite a bit of logic to our application.